It's a lot of nothing around here. So I've decided to go ahead and tell some random stories of things that have happened to me, just for fun, and see how that goes. So the first one, if this goes well, of some of the stories I will tell, is I once had to herd cheetah out of a lodge in South Africa. Yep. I had to herd cheetah like they were dogs or something out of a lodge. I was working in South Africa as a field guide a couple of years ago, and the lodge had an electric fence around it to prevent any of the animals from actually getting in and bothering the guests. Well, the electric fence wasn't very tall. Impala, which are basically deer, they're an antelope, but I mean, if you don't know a lot about animals, think of them as a large deer. I mean, that's totally wrong, but you'll get a general picture of what they look like. Anyway, an impala jumped over the fence running from two cheetah boys and entered the lodge. Now, the lodge had a lot of extra grassland space and brush around it, and the guides actually stayed in an area just outside of the main lodge, but we were still in the fence. So these cheetah who were hunting this impala decided that, oh, that fence isn't very tall, and jumped the fence after it, ending up in the lodge area with the impala. Now, they did manage to kill it and start eating this impala, which was fantastic and great, but they did it inside of the safety area for all of our guests. At the time, I was having my day off, so I was in the lodge while the other guides and all the guests were off doing one of their drives. And I was walking back to my room and I saw a game vehicle just parked outside of the fence, and I was like, what the hell? Why are they parked outside the fence? And all of the guests in the back of the game vehicle were pointing just in front of me of where I was walking on the path. I was like, that's really weird. And they had cameras out, taking pictures, but I couldn't see what they were looking at. There were trees and bushes in the way. So I kind of shrugged it off and kept walking. And it turned out that I walked right into the kill site of these two cheetahs, because they managed to kill it right outside of my room, which was hysterical. So in a situation like that, you don't stop, you just keep walking. You walk past them and pretend like you don't see them. Cheetahs are actually very sweet creatures and are one of the few animals that will go and seek out humans to act as protection for them. And so they didn't mind too much that I was there. So I walked all the way around to look at them from behind, and I started taking pictures like a tourist, because I mean, it's not every day you get to stand approximately 4 meters, yeah, about 4 meters away from the cheetah while they're eating. It's not an everyday event, and it was just really funny. Now, my boss at that time was also at the lodge and was walking down the trail about 5-6 minutes after I had settled down behind these cheetah, and he could see me and he was like, hey, what are you doing? What are you looking at? Shouting it across the area. And as any responsible guide should do, I proceeded to shout the answer back across to my boss, going, hey, 2 cheetahs killed an impala right here. To which he too walked straight past the site and over to where I was standing to also take pictures. Now, we didn't want to disturb the cheetah at all while they were eating. We wanted to wait, and since none of the guests were there, we decided to wait until they any, like, back in the lodge itself. So we just kind of left them alone and kept an eye on them to make sure they weren't in any place that would be considered dangerous for them or for any people that happened to be around. Well, later, when all the guests came back and dinner was being eaten, my boss got all of the guides together to come help herd these cheetah out the front gate. Now, remember the fence is electric? We had turned off the fence so that they wouldn't be shocked if they went into the gate or accidentally hit it or something, because we wanted them to leave. So we turned the fence off, but animals are very good at remembering things. So they remember that the fence is in fact electric. Now, interestingly enough, when they jumped the fence originally, they were so focused on hunting, they didn't even register that the fence was there besides it being an obstacle. So when we were trying to get these cheetah out of the lodge, they absolutely refused to go anywhere near the fence or the gates because they remembered it was electric and it shocks them. So 5 adults were wandering around this massive area trying to scare the cheetah into fleeing the lodge. It was, you know the saying, like, trying to herd cats? If you have ever tried to herd a cat, imagine that cat being 90 pounds and about the size of a large dog. It is annoying, to say the least, and very, very difficult. So we ended up wandering around trying to scare these cheetah in, and they were like running, and they're super fast. They are very fast. They're great sprinters. So they ended up like running back and forth in between us, trying to get away. And at one point we had both the cheetahs in the front of the lodge, and all the guests had finished eating, and so they were standing in front of the lodge trying to get really nice pictures of these cheetah, but also at the same time becoming a nuisance because we were trying to keep them back away from the wild animals while trying to get the wild animals out of the area that's for humans. It was definitely an event. Well, yeah. So if you ever want to go on a guided tour or wander around South Africa, hang out at a lodge, remember that anything can happen and it can always be a fun experience with interesting stories. I'll just leave that as my story for this video. Herding cheetahs out of a lodge. We did eventually get them out. It took about 3 hours, but we did actually get them out of the lodge. So there was that. Yeah. That's my fun story for this drive. Let me know if you'd want to hear any more stories that are, I don't know, just any more stories that happened randomly to me through my travels around the world. Have a great day, and if you want, subscribe. If not, good luck.